Welcome to Interesting Talks with Footprints Counselling Service. Today's talk is going to be about the lie we live, the lie we live. So leave your comments on YouTube or on Facebook. I will reply to them. And on YouTube, there's a button you can hit that notifies you when my latest video is due out. So the lie we live. So what do we really know? My answer is not a lot from what I can tell. We've been on the planet between 300,000 years to 200,000 years, depending on who you believe, known as Homo sapiens, humans, that we stand up and we human, walk, talk, function. Other scientists or archaeologists believe we've been on the planet for 66 million years, just after the dinosaurs were left extinct. The oldest religion dates back to 4,000 years ago, which is Hinduism, closely followed by Judaism. The oldest language dates back 5,000 years and is called Sumerian, found in Iraq. So what's my point? A lot of our life we're based on lots of false information. Our history, namely, and also in present times. So I like people to take the pros and cons of any situation and weigh it up and try to make an informed decision, for want of a better word. So how long we've been here is 8,000 years of knowledge we have out of the time we've been here. That's the maximum amount. Now that leaves another 292,000 years that we know nothing about, just blank. Yet we base everything on 8,000 years of knowledge on this planet and probably around 3,000, 4,000 max that we can actually trace back and make much sense of. Now, there's 8 major religions that can be believed or disbelieved, that can be proved or disproved. I don't know. Nobody really knows for sure. Nobody can swear by them. And then on top of that, which is the right religion? Again, each participant of each particular religion will believe that they're correct. Maybe they all are. I don't know. Just putting it out there. The 6,500 languages and 4 major races on the planet. Now what I can say is if we've got knowledge of roughly 8,000 years of knowledge, which we don't actually have, but let's just push the boat out, then that leaves 92,000 years unaccounted, 292,000 years unaccounted for, that we know nothing about. That to me is quite daunting. And for people to have opinions on stuff and to know exactly what they're talking about, then probably they need to live 100,000 years or plus. That would be about a third of what we've been on the planet as Homo sapiens. So what happens? People go to war on other people's beliefs. People do crazy things, as far as I'm concerned, due to other people's beliefs. All of the information we have is based on books that are written by this author, that based his stuff on another author, another author, and all the way back. So do we know what they was telling was the truth? Did they put falsehoods in there to control people? Or was it just a case of misunderstanding? But one thing's for sure, we read these books and sometimes we take them for gospel and actually live our life according to what these books or information gives us. Which obviously you could see the error that could lead to. Now I don't know if you've ever been at a party where you have a game, what they call Chinese Whisper. This is, for those that don't know, it's like you sit in a circle and one person says something and the other person passes it on until it gets to the 8th person. In majority of these cases, when it gets to the 8th person, it is a totally different sentence, word, meaning, concept of what the 8th person hears compared to what the 2nd person heard. This is our history. This is exactly how our history is. It's so misunderstood, and other people obviously manipulate it for their own good. And me and you and Joe Bloggs sit down here living with it and facing the consequences. So as I said, if you really want a good grasp of history, you probably have to live 100,000 years, which is obviously something we cannot do. Even in today's information age, there's been times when I've been watching the news in the gym where they've got 4 TVs, mostly on the news. An incident takes place, ITV says one thing, BBC says another, Sky says something else, RT says something else, and they're all over the place. They get the figures wrong, the facts wrong, and you don't know what to believe because these are the news stations, and yet they're giving you fake news. That's the new term, fake news. So if we're getting fake news now, with all the instrumentations that are available to mankind today, what do you think about the history that's written on pious paper, that's been given over by word of mouth, that's translated from one language to the next until we get to read it? And will it make sense? So my objective of this is the lie we live. I'm not saying that we live in a lie, but a lot of the information that we're basing our lives on is full of errors. Erroneous is a word they would use. So to me, try to have the pros and the cons, as I've said, and pick what makes sense to you. Now, a lot of the time when somebody tells us a story, what people do, they gossip, and the first story that you hear is the one you believe. And then when the second person's telling you their side of the story, you're almost like doubting them because they're telling you the second story and you've heard the first one and you're more inclined to believe that, maybe consciously, maybe subconsciously. But let's say somebody's going to give you two separate presentations on something. So the first presentation you hear, you'll be listening to it and you'll be objective, as in you'll be listening to the points that you find make sense, but you realize that you're going to listen to a second presentation, so you're consciously and probably subconsciously trying to leave an open mind for the second presentation. And when you hear both of them, you need to make a decision, let's say, on which one carries merit and is the best presentation. If you can look at that in life for things that you face, your decision making will improve. No two ways about it. Your decision making will improve. So what is the point of this talk? The talk is for you to have an open mind, to research stuff that you're interested in, to find out, is it factual? Is it truthful? And what is the counter argument? You need to listen to two sides of an argument before you make a decision. Don't just hear one and say, oh yeah, right, that's it. Because you'll be making the mistakes. And I believe that what information you have affects i.e. your past information, affects your present, and it affects your future. And since I want your future to be bright, and I'm sure you do too, then the information that you feed yourself is going to inform your decisions. So this is the talk. We need to check out what we hear, and we don't want to be living in a lie. So anybody that you feel will find this video useful, share it to them, because I think it's got a point to it. And those that want to comment or have got different ideas to what I'm talking about, leave your comments and we'll have a debate on YouTube comments or Facebook comments, or you could directly contact me on my website. So until next time, take care of yourself, do your best to stay positive, and bye for now until next time. Bye.